Okay, so this is a continuation of coordinate geometry. All right, but these are things that you definitely don't know. So let's say you have a triangle. A, 8, 2, B, 2, 8, and C, negative 4, 4. Okay, there's something called the Euler line. Okay, the Euler line passes through the centroid. It passes through the orthocenter. Okay, and it passes through the circumcenter. Okay, if it's equilateral, then it would also pass through the incenter. Okay, so if I want to get the equation of the Euler line, I need 2 points of concurrency. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to find the centroid, and then we're going to find the circumcenter. The easiest way to find the centroid is to add all the x's together and divide by 3, all the y's together and divide by 3. So what do we get? 10 minus 4 is 6 divided by 3, which is 2. And what do we get? 14, right? 14 divided by 3, am I doing that correct? 2 plus 14 divided by 3. Okay, we could leave it like that, or we could say 4 2/3. Same thing. Okay, so that is the centroid. You could also get the centroid, all right? Another way to get it is to think about what makes a centroid. Well, you have to get the midpoint of the opposite side, right? And then connect it to that vertex. So a long way to do this, okay, I'm not going to do this, but you can, is you could take A and then get the midpoint of BC. Then say take B and get the midpoint of AC, okay? And then what you do is you take each of these, right? Okay, you get the equation of each of these line segments, and then you find out, you solve the system, and that would give you the centroid. Okay, you could try doing that if you want. Okay, now as far as the circumcenter, okay, think about what makes up two of the perpendicular bisectors, right? So circumcenter is perpendicular bisectors. Okay, so what you would do, let's say we got the perpendicular bisector of AB and BC. So number one, we get the slope. Slope of AB is 6 over negative 6, so that's negative 1. But the perpendicular slope would be 1. Okay, the midpoint, halfway between 8 and 2 is 5. Halfway between 2 and 8 is 5. So the midpoint is 5, 5. So the equation would be y minus 5 is 1 times x minus 5 for the perpendicular bisector of AB. Perpendicular bisector of BC, I would have 8 minus 4 for the slope. 8 minus 4, right? So that's 4 over 2 minus negative 4, that's 6. So I get 2/3, so the perpendicular slope is negative 3/2. Okay, the midpoint, 2 plus negative 4 is negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. And 8 plus 4 is 12 divided by 2 is 6. So I get y minus 6 is m times x minus negative 1. Okay, solving this system, I have, let me solve for y. Y equals x minus 5 plus 5, so that's just y equals x. Okay, for the other one, I get y equals negative 3/2 x minus 3 halves, which is 1.5, plus 6. So that's y equals negative 3 halves x plus 4.5. Okay, but y equals x, so I could just replace y with x, or x with y, whichever. So if I do that here, I get x equals negative 3 halves x plus 4.5. Add 3 halves to the left. That's going to be 5 halves, because you have 1 plus 1.5. 1 plus 1.5 is 2 halves. Okay, 4.5 is the same as 9 halves. Multiply both sides by the reciprocal, 2/5. So we end up with 9/5. So x is 9/5, which means y is also 9/5. Okay, kids? All right. So your circumcenter is 9/5, 9/5. Okay, so I have my centroid, I have my circumcenter, and then you just get the equation through those 2 points. Okay, remind me to go over that in class. Okay, get the equation through those 2 points, and that is the Euler line. Okay? All right, the only other thing you need to know is the directed line segment. So I'm just going to formula, and we could discuss it more in class. Okay, it's just x1 plus a over a plus b, x2 minus x1. Same thing for the y part. y1 plus a over a plus b, y2 minus y1. Okay, this is the fastest way to get it. So let's say I say find j along KP such that the ratio of k to j to p is 1 to 3. Okay, so let's say the coordinates of k are 3, negative 8. All right, and p is 7, 0. So this would, we're starting from k, so you'd have 3 plus 1 over 1 plus 3, so that would be 1/4, 7 minus 3. So that would be 3 plus 1/4 times 4, which is 3 plus 1, or 4. Okay, for the y part, you would start with negative 8 plus 1/4, 0 minus negative 8, which is 0 plus 8, so negative 8 plus 1/4 times 8. Well, 1/4 of 8 is 2. Okay, so this would be the coordinates of j. All right, we'll be working on this in class. Okay, hope this helped. Thanks.